I've already collected all the papers that I want to use in my junk journal, but how to bring those into a context and how to manage to bring different colors together so that they look harmonious, and how to manage that all those collected papers match the digital printable paper collection that I want to use. Hi there, this is Luise Heinzel. Welcome to my channel Junk Journal Art. Nice to see you here. So yeah, you can see I have lots of stuff here on my desk, and as always I have stained my fingers in the color of the project. So please just notice that. It's a special thing here on my channel. Of course, that's only a joke, sorry. But yeah, today I would like to show you how you can bring a connection in between of your papers that you have collected, how you can bring everything together, and how you can give your journal in the end this, yeah, kind of harmonious style, and this in German we would say it's the red thread that goes through the journal. Of course, in this case the thread will be not red because the papers are mainly blue and brown, but yeah, it's a quote that we say in German, and that's a thing that I want to try to bring to you today with this little tutorial. So of course there are many ways to do that, and there are many ways to manage, yeah, this texture pattern thingy on your pages. But today I would like to work with my Gelli plate. There were so many people excuse me please, who asked me about the Gelli plate and how I use the Gelli plate for my junk journals. Of course, you know the Gelli plate for all kind of mixed media artworks, and it's often used in the art journaling world. So I mean, junk journaling is mixed media as well. We are mixing different mediums, and that's mixed media, of course. But do you know what I mean when I say mixed media and junk journaling? And when I make this difference, I think you know what I mean. It's such a small space between those words, but I think you know what I mean. So of course, you can use a Gelli plate in your junk journaling process. And this video shall also answer some of your questions. It shall answer some of your questions that you've asked below my past videos. And you said, Luise, please tell us something about the Gelli plate. Of course, I can do that. And the most of you who asked something about the Gelli plate asked also how I made my lace patterns in one of my last printables. That was the Show Must Go On printable. The Show Must Go On printable. One the was missing. And of course I can show you that here in a similar way. So yeah, what I'm doing here today is the same that I did for the other paper collection, and then I digitalized it and it was on the paper. Yeah. So the Gelli plate is usually used with acrylic paints, and that's also what I want to do today. I use my Winsor & Newton acrylic paints, and first of all I try to get a thin layer of some blues here to my gel plate. And if you wonder why those white lines are here, these are from my previous print, so it's no problem when you have some leftover paint on your plate that gets dry, because with the next print you can lift that up with the paper that you put on top. So let's see if I can get something out here. So I have two different blues here. Perhaps in the camera you can't see that they are different, but please believe me, they are different. And I also use this yeah, brownish color here to get some vintage, perhaps, expression in the print. And then I take this brayer here and I try to spread the paint here to my plate in a really thin layer. And to do that in the most successful way, you can, I will do it really slowly now, so some kind of slow motion. You can do it like so. Roll it, then lift it up, and then roll it again, so that you can bring, I can't do it slowly, so that you can bring the color, I mean, that you can blend the color here on the plate, directly on the plate. Otherwise, you would have something like this here, this little bloppy areas, and that's of course not what you want. You want to have something like a, yeah, an even coat of the paint. Okay, so here it's a little bit thicker, but I don't want to, yeah, let's see. I want to leave the yellow there so that you can see what happens when different colors are mixed. I think it was a little bit too blue, so I'm not this jelly plate expert, yeah? So, I mean, I use it, and I use it relatively often for my junk journals, but I'm not an expert. So this is a plastic lace. Don't be confused that this is blue here on this side. It's acrylic paint as well. I used it the other way around when I did the other print for another project, but on this side here, it's much more structured. So I try to get this like so, even if you can't see it so well. Make sure that you press this, yeah, really flat here. And then I take a piece of, sorry, a piece of a really thin paper like this one. I place it on top. And now I try to get the color out of those little slots, so that only the color that is underneath of this plastic lace is on the plate, is left on the plate. That can take a time, but believe me, it's worth it. And of course, the more you rub here, the more paint you will get out, and the more clear your actually print will be in the end. Okay, so another good thing is when you use this kind of tissue paper, then you will get something like this. And what do we think when we see this? Of course, we are thinking, whoo, collage fodder. We can use this for collages later. But here I can see it's not like I want it. So when you look closer to the plate, then you sometimes can see that not everything in between of the plastic lace has been lifted up from this tissue paper. So just go over it again. You could also only press the lace to the paint and then lift it up without doing this with the paper. But that will be a totally different result, and I would say it's meant for the experts. I mean, it will work, but I think you will need much experience to do that. And for me, this is the most easiest way to do this, and that's the reason why I'm also showing you that, because I think when you are watching this, you are new to gel printing. And you are not an expert when you are watching this video. So, I mean, I think so. And because of that, I'm trying to show you the most easiest way. So when you lift that up carefully, probably you think it looks like before, but that's because of my camera. Perhaps you can see this here, that we have some really cool areas, and perhaps I can carefully lift it up so that you can see it better. The whole, I think you can see it now. The whole pattern of this plastic lace is now here on my plate. And now we have to be a little bit patient, because this has to dry a little bit so that I can put another coat of layer here on top of this. You could also lift it up now and try to get some of the pattern from your plate to your paper, but that will also be a totally different result. I can show you that. What will happen here? Let's try to take this kind of scrapbooking paper and press it here. And of course, what's happening here now belongs to, no, it depends. I'm always struggling with this, both words, sorry. It depends to, or is it depends on? I think it's depend on. It depends on how dry this acrylic paint is. I was explaining things to you and time went by. So it may happen that this, what's coming up here, what's coming to my paper here, sorry, is not such such a clear print, because the paint is probably too dry. But we can get an interesting abstract result. But when you want to have a safe result, then let this dry, put another coat of paint, another layer. Keep calm, Louise. If you want to have a clear print of this pattern, then put another layer of paint. I will show you that in a second, and then you will have a really clear print. So yeah, otherwise you have to do this really fast. I mean, when you put your plastic lace on top here, and of course you need time to take the color off with this paper, and in that time this paint is drying, and that's not so easy to do that so fast. So let's see. Oh, I think, look here, the paint has gone nearly completely, so I expect a really clear print here. So obviously, oh yes, obviously this was wet enough so that we could take this off. Yeah, so I think that's great. What do you think? It's really great. I think putting some scraps here, a little collage, a little cluster, for example, and your page is ready. I mean, the page goes into the journal like this. And even if you would leave it like this, I think that looks great. You can also splatter around a little bit to get the splatters here from the background to this thing here as well. Yeah. So, I mean, what I'm doing here today is only a starting point for something new. So this is some kind of a color bridge that goes through the whole journal. The patterns will repeat during the journal. The colors will repeat during the journal. And that shall bring this context to our journal. But of course, you could also do some further things here to the pages. So let me just put that away. I have really limited space here today because I have so much on my desk. I'm going crazy here with this thing. Sorry. So I think we have to wait a little bit. So I will stop the camera for a few minutes and wait until this is really dry, because when you want to put another layer now here to get the rest off and get this little bit different result, then you have to wait until this is dry, completely dry. Okay, so now it's a few minutes later and you can touch it carefully with your finger. And when you see, yeah, I mean, you can also see that when it's dry, then it's really matte, but I think the camera can't catch that. If you work the first time with your jelly plate, I mean, when you want to buy one, then I think the most of the people make some, bad experiences. And they have not this success that they are satisfied with their result with the first print. I think this needs really much experience, and it also depends on what materials do you use. Do you have this plastic lace or do you have stencils? Of course, you could also put stencils here or stamp into the wet paint. You can do so many things. And I think when you use this, you have to find your own way to do it, and your own, you have to get this feeling when you can do the next step. Or yeah, sometimes the people that are in really hot areas, of course, there will dry, this paint will dry much faster when you are in a hot area than when it's a rainy day and there's much water in the air. Yeah, so hopefully that makes sense. I've chosen this blue and the yellow because that I think would fit to our printable. So this is the Ocean Eyes digital printable paper collection from my Etsy shop that I'm using for making this journal. So if you are have come to this video by accident, I'm making a journal with these papers here. And of course I would like to have this in the colors of the printable. So I think we will take this brown here. I mean, yellow brown, don't know. And I will try to get a tiny bit of a darker brown. I will put that here to the edge of my gel plate so that I can control how much I put here. So I will first put this yellow layer here so that I get this here nearly all over this thing, and then I take only a little bit of this brown and try to blend it. And this layer here can be a little bit thicker than the layer that we made before, to make sure that it dries not so fast. Okay, so then we can also spread this here and yeah, make a brown stripe somewhere. That's also, of course, possible. And then let's just take, so I mean, the back side is like so. I will put it here, press it carefully. And here we also have something of this pattern underneath this layer of paint. So after I have pressed this, I will just take another page here that's not so, yeah, I mean, that's not so interesting like this here, so that can take such a pattern as well. And I will put it here. And now there's the big question always, when is the time that I can lift this? When the paper is relatively thick, like this atlas paper, then you it's much harder to know when this is such dry that you can lift it. When the paper is thinner, like this advertisement paper here, then you can feel it a little bit better. This feels some kind of wet. I mean, not it's not such wet like a baby wipe or that stuff. I mean, it's a little bit wet, a tiny bit. And the biggest thing, and that's what I learned, is when it feels cold, then it's not dry. So you have to make sure that you go over this here until the surface of the plate and the paper has the temperature of your hand. And when that's the case, then you can lift it up. If you are not sure, or if you are practicing that, sorry, then you can lift the paper here and see, or if something is already here, and you can see the plate is empty and my paint is here, so I can carefully lift this up. So you can take it like so, and then you have this gorgeous print. Oh my goodness. And can you see those white lines now? That's what I said in the beginning. That was the rest of the paint. But that's, for me, the most interesting thing. I think this is so glossy that you can't see it. Sorry. Of course, the acrylic paint is a little bit glossy, but look at this. That is so cool. And I think this pattern of this plastic lace matches this theme really, really great. So for all the people who asked me with the Show Must Go On paper and how I did those gel prints in the digital printable paper, I made it exactly the same like this, but of course with other colors. There we had this turquoise and yeah, this really bright turquoise. And then I put that to my scanner and brought it into my Photoshop program on my computer, and then I layered it with the other things that I had in the printable. So that's nearly all. Okay, so and when I have this and I'm happy with this print, then I can check if that will fit to the rest, and I think that will match really, really great. So I mean, even if this yellow is really yellow, I think the colors are great for this project. And also the pattern is great because it looks like some corals and like underwater thing. It's really dark, and yeah, perhaps it lets pop out those pages like this one, for example, also a little bit more from the whole journal if this is a little bit darker. But of course, that's personal preference. But when you have something like this and you like it, then you can take this and use that as some kind of a guide for the rest, what you want to do. Of course, we don't want to have such a print on every page. We only want to have perhaps sometimes this little piece or this little piece or something, something abstract, but those little tiny pieces that go through the whole journal. I will show you how I manage that when I have got a piece that I like. I love those situations. Some people could say, okay, this is brown, that looks a little bit shitty, but I like it. I really like it. And I especially like this brown. In the camera, it looks some kind of really dark black, but this is brown. This is a really cool color, I think. And of course, on this page, so I mean, please imagine that this is folded in half and cut to DIN A5. Then, of course, this area is really massive on the page. But this here can be a really great area for a white stamping, for a white embossing, for a belly band here, for a pocket here. And then this really massive area will be broken by what you put on top. I mean, this is only a starting point. This is the first step to get this colors and this texture and the pattern through the whole journal. So I want to say that again so that you are not confused about what I'm doing here. Okay, so how to get those tinier pieces to some of the pages. So let's take the same colors and put a thin layer of those colors to the plate like we did it before. So let's take this thing again. Let's put it here, like so. Let's take this paper and make our collage fodder more interesting and get this paint out of this little areas there. And now let's lift that up so we have the same thing like before. And then of course we have to let this dry, but while this is drying we can think about if we want to use this yellow color in the background again. We have the yellow here, or another color. I mean, it would change this whole thing a little bit, but the blue here and this yellow here, I mean this yellow, brown yellow, that will be really dominant. Is that the right word? It will be in the foreground. Everything what you do on the plate, of course, it's reversed. I mean, what you have here as your first layer will be shown on the top of your paper later. So this pattern here from the lace is on top later, and it's the other color is showing through here. So that means what you have here is, in the most cases, it's dominant when you have it on your print later. And I think we could perhaps take some white for this second layer. So of course we can try different colors. So let's do that. What's that? But I think this is not, no, that's not totally dry. I will leave it for a few minutes and then I will be back. Okay, so here we go. So I will try to get out the rest of this white here. That's probably not enough, but let's see. I think that's my last white acrylic paint. Ugh. Okay, so we can perhaps mix that with a tiny bit of this darker brown and this yellow sand color. This second layer, I don't know if I have said that before, this second layer shall be a little bit thicker than the layer underneath. I think I said that with the other print. I'm not sure. Because when I make my videos, and I have recorded the German version of this video just before I recorded this here, then sometimes I don't know what I have said and what not, and I have some kind of note paper there, but sometimes I'm so confused that I don't know what I have already said and what not. Sorry. So, okay. This layer is a little bit thicker than the layer below, and now I'm taking just some random pieces of my collected papers for the journal, and I will place them here like so that I get only some areas of the paper that are printed, and the rest is like it was before. So that can look really interesting in the end. Of course, now we will get some kind of rectangles to the back of those papers, but I will show you later another thing, that you can also get shapes that are not rectangled. So we can also put it like so, of course, then we get some kind of a weird shape. But because of the fact that the paper is a rectangle, of course, we have this straight lines here. Of course, you can cover the plate with some circles or something else. Do I want to have this on this envelope? Meep. Yes. I don't know, but yes. Let's try it like this. So, I mean, you can probably put some, how's that called? Die cuts or something like that to your plate before you put the pages, so that some areas of the paper don't get any paint. But I like this. I like this rectangle shape, and often it's also, some kind of a help if you are a beginner. I mean, if you do this the first time, it's easier to start with some things that are really easy to handle. A rectangle shape, that's, I think, easier in the beginning to work with than when you have such weird shapes, you know, that you sometimes get with some projects. Okay, when I have this, I start with the top paper, of course, because otherwise I will get a mess, and I will start lifting that up. Now we have this little stripe here, and I love this. I really love this because that can give so much inspiration to, for the next steps. And look at this. I'm so excited how the rest will look, because this looks already really great. Okay, so let's perhaps take this one. And I love this little edge here. And it's, yeah, of course, that's a happy accident. It looks like those little birds here flying behind this curtain. Behind? No, you know what I mean. It looks like they are coming out there. And of course, you could also, how can I explain that? I mean, this looks like some kind of a pocket, doesn't it? I mean, but of course it is not a pocket. But what about taking some kind of a fake tag? I mean, cut a tag and glue it here so that it only looks like it is put into the pocket, and then take some transparent paper, put it here on top, and put a real tag inside. Then it can look like there are two pockets, but it's only one. What do you think about that? I don't know, but I think, I hope that you are thrilled about such things. I mean, and that's something that can only happen with experimenting. I always say that. Please do this and try experimenting. And this, I think, especially this gel printing, it's so, you can get such cool results. I mean, tell me a second technique that gives you such results. I mean, this is so crisp and clear. This print is such gorgeous. It's so cool. Hopefully the camera can catch that. And also those, yeah, this thing here, this is the label from this wallpaper sample. And I think that's great. It's a piece of art with something that's, yeah, from our daily life. And this combination, I think it's just great. It's just great. And this piece, I think it would match. Let me just take out this page. I think it would match this page really, really well. Look at this. I think that fits together perfectly. This contrast, this greenish color here in the background is nearly the same like this green in the background of this mermaid. Hopefully my camera can catch that. I think like so. Can you see that? It's the same color. And those tiny things sometimes are the reason why journals look interesting, I think. Okay, so here we have such a smaller thing that's really dark, but you can see the pattern really well. I think that's great. And of course, the different papers will react a little bit different. When you have really old book pages, for example, it may happen that they tear when you want to take them off from the plate. But of course, you will get some experience with the time with that as well. And for the German version of this video, I had a really thin paper from a really old book, and it stood in stood. Is that the right word? It was intact after I have lifted it from the plate, so it was no problem to take this really thin and fragile paper. And also those terrible envelopes, like this blue one, can be included into a journal by printing to them. I mean, this is still really, really blue, and it would not match the color of this here so well like it is now. But this is not the end. You can still take some coffee or some other mediums, some sprays, and make this here match the rest of the colors as well. But this is, as I said, a starting point from where you can go with other things. And now I'm oh I'm really excited. I wanted to say I'm really excited, but then I could see it. I'm really glad that I did that. And also here we have this round edge of the plate. I think I will round the edges of this envelope as well. I mean the corners here with a corner rounder. Distress them again, and then we have this round thing here and this round thing there. That could look really cool. And imagine just a piece of lace here. Let me just take this one here that I have here. I mean, perhaps that's not the right color because it's really matchy, but imagine this here and you are done with your envelope. It's a little bit strange, but can you imagine that this looks great? Okay, so the next thing that I want to show you is, of course, you can also use, how can I say that? I mean, those real materials. That what we have used before, this, for me it's a lace, but it's not a real lace because it's made out of plastic. I don't know how to explain that in English, but of course you can use real lace, and that's what I want to try now. And perhaps we can get some orange as well, because we have some orange elements and some red elements in the printable paper as well. So of course you can, yeah, for the ocean eyes printable paper, I would go with this blue. I mean, the most of those color bridges, I think, shall have to do with this blue. But of course, you can use any other color that you want. You can mix that like you want it. And I would like to have some of those red and orange elements that are in the printable. And in the printable, it's mainly those octopus things here. I have one here. And the other page is this one here. And here are, yeah, those red and orange elements. And when we put something next to those pages, I think we need those colors. And for that, I'm, yeah, demonstrating this thing here with those colors. Of course, you can go on with the blue if you're not sure, yeah, what you are doing or what you, you know, if you are experimenting, you can stay with one color much longer than I did it here, but I think you got what I wanted to say. Yeah. So I think this color is great, hopefully. On the plate, sometimes it looks a little bit different than in reality, but I think that's a great red, orange red. And then let's just take a real lace. So I have this one here. This once was on the table of my grandmother. You know, this sometimes strange things that happen here in my craft room with my grandmother, even if she's not here anymore. But I wanted to have this here. Oopsala. Yeah. You already got what I want to say. So I will show you that this will work with real lace as well. But when you put the real lace to your plate, I think you've seen that a second ago, it's not so easy. Of course, everything that's made out of this plastic thing, I mean this plastic lace or a stencil or a stamp that you can put on top of the acrylic paint, that's easier to get to the plate without destroying the pattern. When you use a real lace, it's a little bit more difficult to bring it to the plate, but I think it's worth it because the result will be amazing, I'm sure. Yeah. And I think it's a good idea to choose a lace or something similar that has some areas like this. I mean, this has the pattern on the other side. Yeah, can I show you without destroying everything here? I don't know. Let's see. I mean, the pattern is this here. And that's what I have just pressed to the plate. That's underneath this, of course. This is the back side. And this can give a really, really cool print, even if this pattern is closed. And here you have these little areas that have these holes. And when you have a mix out of both, I mean this closed patterns and this, I would say, open patterns, then that can look really, really interesting and really great. You can get really, really cool results from that. But of course, a normal lace would also work. Perhaps here a little bit and here. Okay, so when we lift that up, of course, you have to live with the fact that your lace will be colored in the end. So, yeah, but I think that's clear. So now we have to let this dry, but I'm already sure that this will look really great in the end. I'm a little bit sad that I can't show you that in the camera better than this, but yeah. When you have a gel plate, you know this feeling. So I will let this dry, then I will be back. Okay, so here we go. This is dry. So let's try to take this color again that we had before to make it not too wild. I mean, I would not use some green now or a color that we haven't used before, because I think that would be really strange. Oh my goodness, sorry, my hubby was calling. Strange things. Okay, so second coat of, I'm confused now, sorry, second coat of paint here, and this time I will try to get it a little bit, yeah, I would say not so blended, so that you can see how that would look if this is a real, yeah, some kind of, you see the difference. Do you see the difference? I think. Okay, so let's try to, for example, take this page, and now let's try to put that here, and the next one perhaps here, so that we have this little thing here. And then you can also take some more glossy pages like this one. So this is from, yeah, a glossy silk painting book, and you can try to get some kind of a triangle here by putting it like so. What else do we have here? Ah, yeah. This is also such a glossy page, and you know, the problems with those pages is always that they, yeah, sometimes they just don't fit. But let's just put a little stripe of this pattern here. I will show you in a second how that will come out. Yeah, so just do it like this. Oh. And when you lift it up and you see that your plate still has some color, you can also put it back and then wait a little bit more, so that this is really dry. Okay, so. Oh my goodness. Isn't that great? Ah! Patricia, Mariah, are you watching? Are you watching? Look at this. Oh my goodness. So I'm always joking a little bit with Patricia and Mariah from PM Artist Studio because they make the most amazing prints. And I think I have something that I can be proud of now. So of course I'm not this mixed media artist. Yeah, I'm a junk journaler. I'm a mixed media artist as well because junk journals are mixed media. You know what I want to say. But oh my goodness, I think this is cool. Hopefully they are watching and hopefully they think the same. So yeah, I have to calm down. Here you can see this, yeah, closed pattern that I have shown you before from the lace. And here also these little flowers and the rest. Oh my goodness. And this would match, this will match this red pages. Oh my goodness. I think we have something that will fit perfectly to this page. Oh, I'm so happy. I can't tell you, I'm so happy this will fit perfectly. Look at this. Okay, so let's go on. Louisa, go on. The people want to see the rest. Sorry. Okay, so let's lift this up and let's see what we have. Ah, this is so great. This is just great. And here we have, of course, by happy accident, this flower here in the middle. And that's also, of course, a really cool thing to go on and to make, yeah, more things to this page. Yeah, this is not such clear, but it's also interesting. And this has the same colors like the clear print. I mean, if you would put this together, everyone would notice the context. Yeah, and that's the secret. The secret that you wanted to know. And also here, look at this. Look at this, how this, oh my goodness. Now I'm not sure. Is the picture coming through here? Or is the paint here just a little bit darker? I mean, we had this darker color here. And is this line exactly here by accident? Or is the picture of the page coming through here? I don't know, but oh my goodness, how cool is that? How cool is that? Oh, I have thousands of ideas how to decorate this area. Oh my goodness. Okay, so here we have this little triangle thing. Oh my goodness, and I think that looks also so cool. Okay, so I haven't expected such experiences here now today with this video, but I'm really happy. And also here on this atlas page, that looks really cool. And such things make such an ordinary atlas page to something really, I think, really gorgeous. I mean, you could use the page as it is and it would fit the colors of the digital paper as well. But when you have such things here, imagine a little cluster or a little collage here, and that's the perfect page. Haha. Okay, so let's see what we have here. Hoopsala. A hair of my head. That's not so great. Go off. Yeah. I think that's cool. Okay, so let's put that away and let's take what we had here before, because now I want to show you a way how you can go on with this. I mean, it's only one possibility of thousands of billions of possibilities. You could take some stamps now. You could take some stencils, some more acrylic paint, or you can splatter with some watercolor. You can splatter with white acrylic paint, or whatever you want to do. But I like to use some brusho powders now. I got many questions about those brusho powders in the past, so I thought I could try to combine those those mediums. I mean the acrylic paint and brushos. So I will try to arrange this here so that you can see everything, and I will now lay this to my table so that the table is protected, but also the papers are a little bit overlapping. And then I take just such a spray bottle with water, and now I have to decide if I want to mix the blue and the red. I mean, here we have these red areas and here we have the blues. I think we will start with the blues because I've already taken those out. I have this Ost blue, if you want to know the exact name of the brusho. I have the turquoise and some light brown and gray. And now I will first spritz some water here and there, really randomly. I know, it's crazy. Then take the powder and sprinkle this really carefully as well. Please don't be confused, this looks really, really extreme, but when this is dry, it will get a little bit more muted. You could also, if you don't like it too bright, use some coffee instead of water to spritz here. I mean, you can fill such a spray bottle with coffee, and I think, yeah, in this case, it's even for me, it's just a little bit. I mean, I'm not this typically vintage woman. But I think, even for me, this is a little bit too bright. I will just go and fill a spray bottle with coffee, and then I will be back. Okay, so here we go. Please don't be confused. This is only the bottle of this Distress Spray Stain Old Paper by Ranger, but I have just put some coffee in it. This was empty, and I like this spray thing here. This sprayer, so why not using it for this project? Yeah, so I think that's much better. Okay, and shall we try this contrast here with the red? I'm not really sure, so let's put some coffee here. Of course, you could also leave this, I mean, spray coffee or whatever, and leave it. But, yeah, you know me. I always need this extra kick. I think with the brown brusho, it looks really interesting. Especially because the brown brusho has some orange pigments inside, and these will be visible later, and I think that looks really cool in the end. So if you think I have some kind of a mess here, too much water, you can also take this paper, another paper, like so, and lift some of the color. Of course, the result on this paper will change a little bit, but this pigment effect will stay here. I mean, these little dots will stay there because they are still soaked into the paper. Like so, perhaps. And perhaps we can also lift something up here. And this is really messy, I know. It's really much experimenting, I know, but it's so much fun. And oh my goodness, look what happens here with this, come on, with this. Look what's happening with this pattern from the other side. Oh my goodness, what's that? That comes through here, but I think that's because of the Can we spray this with coffee and get the rest of those lines out there? Here it's blue. Why is it blue and here it's green? It's perhaps because of this blue. Okay, so let's try something. I have to know that. I will spritz some coffee first here. Oh my goodness. Hopefully I'm not destroying it now. Then let's make it blue, like it was in the areas where we had this effect. Like so. Some more coffee to get this, yeah, really wet so that it can soak to the other side of this paper. And then we have a second one here. So let's try that. I think this is still beginning to react. I don't know, where can I put that? Just want to lift up a little bit of this turquoise here. Okay, so I think we have to soak this a little bit more. We have to put some more coffee here, but I just want to take my other pages out of here so that they don't get destroyed. Put them somewhere there. Perhaps we can do that here on this map. Can you see that? Yes, I think so. Just some more coffee. I think that then this pattern will soak through. Hopefully that will stay there until it's dry. And perhaps we can, because we have some red here, we can perhaps take a red brusho color. For example, this one here. This is brilliant red. Don't destroy it, Louise. Don't destroy it. I will try to get this here into those areas where much coffee is, so that I don't have to spray more coffee now, but instead of that I can use my heat gun and try to dry this. I will do that and then I will be back. Yeah. I'm not sure what you are thinking about this, but yeah, strange. It's really strange. You can imagine where those lines were. I mean, it's visible, but it has mainly disappeared, especially here in those areas, on the edges here. I mean, it's a gorgeous paper. It was a gorgeous paper before, only with this pattern here. But I think, I'm not totally sure, but I think those areas here, these really light areas, they will disappear with the time. It's not totally dry. It's still a little bit wet. And I think when it's totally dry, this will be really, really light. I mean, these areas would probably stay because here's much different color, I mean, the turquoise and the red and this beige tone are separated here, and they have really big contrast, and here it's not so high contrasted. But yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. Perhaps I should put this to my scanner and make a copy before it's totally dry, so that I can have this here as a copy in my journal. Why not? Okay, so let's go on. Okay, so here we go. And I think what I've just learned is, if you have those papers, like for example from this atlas, that have a pattern, I mean, this obviously is matching this paper collection really well. The pattern, you know, it's really, really cool. But this paper still looks really new. Yeah, here in these areas, it's, yeah, untouched. It's new. And because of the fact that this atlas is not so old, it will never get this vintagey look when you don't manipulate it. But if you use an atlas page, so for example this one, and protect your desk while you're doing the other things, then this gets some kind of used, some kind of, yeah, you know, vintage by itself. Here I haven't put any color with the Brushos, but this was laying on the bottom layer on my table with the other papers on top. And here you can see, yeah, those marks from the water and really light paint things. And I think, yeah, look, this is the backside. This is the original look of the page. It's new. It's some kind of an old atlas, but not vintage. And now here you can see something happened to the paper. And that's the interesting thing for me. So perhaps that makes sense. Here we have this scrapbooking paper. So that has this pattern originally, yeah, this watercolor thing, and I think it looks really great with this addition of this brusho color. This one is the one that I have put like so and then lifted the color up, and I think that's also a nice effect that the brusho color can give to your paper. And I really like those areas where those pigments of the brusho colors are shown in the end. I mean, yeah, look here with this coffee, it looks some kind of stained, some kind of vintage and old, but it has these more modern and more bright colors on top. I think that's a really cool combination. Excuse me. And also here on this label, I mean, this label turned into something vintage just by, yeah, doing those steps that we did today. And I also think that this combination of acrylic paint and Brushos is really cool. And this was from a newer dictionary that was such a children dictionary that was gifted to me a few months ago. And the original pages, as you can see, are white and some kind of glossy. But look now at this area. So that would be, I think, a perfect belly band or something like that. Please imagine that this is cut here. Perhaps I can put those both pages here, or even this would be a really great combination. You could also sew them together. I mean, cut it and then sew these three pages together and make some kind of a Franken page out of it. Yeah. Okay, so as I said, these papers will change during the next videos. They will not stay like this. And I would like to encourage you to try that with your papers that you've probably collected for your journal as well. Many people wrote below my past videos, I'm new to junk journaling, or I'm relatively new, and I have collected so many things and I don't know how to start. Please try those things out. We could stamp something here, or glue something, or try some stenciling and make something totally different out of this. And if we do the same techniques, jelly printing, stamping, stenciling, and so on more of one of the papers, I mean on several papers, then we will get this context and this harmonious look of the journal in the end, because those things are repeating when we flip through the journal later. Also the same here with this envelope. I have to do something with it. I don't know until now what, but I think, yeah, perhaps we can spray some coffee and wait what will happen. And that's the good thing. If you do the jelly printing first, or no, it makes no difference. Let me just think about it. No, it would make no difference. If you put the brushes first and then make the gel print, nothing will happen. But I think when you do the gel printing first and then put the water-based mediums, it would be a little bit easier, but you will not destroy your gel print because, yeah, the acrylic paint, of course, is waterproof. So, yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and hopefully you will join me the next time as well. And hopefully this was a little bit helpful for you. So please leave a comment what you think about this. I am just playing around here a little bit while I'm saying goodbye to you. So for now, of course, because this series will go on here on my channel, of course. So in the end, you will see the finished journal with this Ocean Eyes paper collection. If you want to have the paper collection, please visit my Etsy shop. You can find it there. The link is down below in the description box. So if you want to make your own journal with this paper collection, there's an ephemera pack as well, of course. And yeah, I hope you will try some of these techniques that I show you here during this series, and I hope you will show me some of your results, perhaps on Instagram or Facebook or wherever. So enjoy your process and enjoy your creative time. See you the next time. Bye bye.